All right, hello everyone. What is up? My name is Marshall, and today we are doing something very different. This is a video with my phone. I've never really tried anything like this, but I'm sitting here, and I'm subscribed to this magazine called World Soccer, and despite the title, it's written by a bunch of British people, and they only use the word soccer on the front cover, which is kind of weird. I guess they just want to appeal to the American audience. But this article, this is from September 2012. I've been collecting these since the 2010 World Cup, and I have every issue since then, I think. Um, and as you can see here, they have Football's Wonder Kids, 50 talented youngsters set to break through this season in 2012. So I thought it would be fun to look back and see how they actually are doing. So there you go. You can see Football's 50 Wonder Kids, 50 talented youngsters set to break through this season. And on the open cover, it's Oscar. And I was like, okay, they got one wrong. So yeah, obviously he was really good in that Youth World Cup a couple of years ago. And then he got a big move to Chelsea and turned out to be a flop. So a lot of people were kind of mad that he sold to China, but you know what? He's just a lot of unfulfilled potential and disappointing career, moving to China at like age 25, I think. So I don't know about that one. Let's see what they say about him. The emergence of Oscar has done well. Blah blah blah. Hat-trick hero of last year's World Youth Cup final. He's very good, blah, blah, blah. Mixed decisions with Chelsea. Let's read that. On the one hand, as a frequent critic of the lack of intensity in the domestic Brazilian game, Menezes, who I think was the coach of the Brazil youth team, will welcome Oscar's decision to step out of his comfort zone by swapping Internacional for Chelsea. The youngster will learn to operate at a higher tempo and take quicker decisions against better opponents where the margin for error is reduced. The experience should serve as an excellent preparation for the World Cup, providing he does not spend too much time on the bench. Well, he didn't spend that much time on the bench and until later in his career, and in the World Cup, it really wasn't that good. So let's move on. Endogan Adli. I've never heard of him. I'm not surprised about that one. Let's see. I got an injury at a low age. He's the youngest ever goal scorer in Switzerland. 15 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. Next up, it's Mitchell Weiser. We know him. I didn't know he used to play for Bayern Munich. That's crazy. He's pretty. I don't think he was ever that good. He's not that great in real life. He's okay, but he plays for Hertha right now. He's like decent, but he's not as good probably as they thought he was. Larry Azuni. Oh wow, doesn't he play for Olympic Nîmes in the second tier? I think so. So I think he was a flop. Betinho. I think pretty sure he was a flop too. This page. Let's see, we've got Luciano Narsing, Omar El Abdullawi, Victor Fischer, and Leonardo Bittencourt. So 4 players that I've heard of. 3 on the left that you should have heard of if you're a Premier League fan. Luciano Narsing got a move to Swansea, so his career's kind of gone downhill, let's be honest. El Abdullawi was playing at Hull, out on loan from Olympiacos, so his career's gone downhill. And Victor Fischer got a move to relegated Borough. So all 3 of these were flops. So really, there hasn't even been one right one in here so far. That's surprising. And then Leonardo Bittencourt on the left-hand page, they said, let's see, 2.4 million from Energie Cottbus. Wow, 2.4 million for Leandro Bittencourt. He went on to Köln, and he's not that good. Like, he's okay. He's not great. Wassim Boy. Never heard of him. Is that bad? I feel like I should have heard of him. Juventus talent. Ajax prospect. That's him right there. Never heard of him before. Yesil, never heard of him. Yatara, Mar. I can't say I've ever heard of anybody on that page, unfortunately. Moving on to the next page, we've got a couple people I've heard of. Christian Atsu at Newcastle, so not really too good. Nick Powell never really turned out, did he? Chalobah's good. I think he still could be good, but he'll probably just get shipped out to Brentford later on because he won't get enough playing time or something. Luke Shaw is okay. He's not great. Shime Versako, yeah, he got a move to Sassuolo and then to Atletico Madrid, so I guess they're kind of right about him. Boakye, never heard of him. Bessa, never heard of him. Marco Fabian gets a bigger box. He's pretty good. He's not great, but he's okay for Eintracht Frankfurt. I feel like they expected him to be better than he was. He's a very good player, of course, but he's not like that good. If you play for Eintracht Frankfurt, you're not that good. I'm sorry. Mattia Destro, kind of a flop, plays for Bologna now. Oliver Torres, right, him. He's out on loan from Porto, and I think he's going to turn out to be a disappointment. He hasn't played well yet. He still could turn out to be good, but I don't think he's going to do well. Lucas Piazon is next. He's bad. Moving on. Paco, they were right about him. He got a big move to Barcelona as a backup. Maybe not quite as good as they thought, though. I don't know. He's a decent player. I like him. I think he could be pretty good anywhere else. Deulofeu gets a whole big page to himself. And I remember when he used to be the hot stuff. Then he got a move to Everton, and then he got loaned out to AC Milan. So I think his career has gone downhill, but he could revive it. He's been pretty good at AC Milan this season. See what they say about him. Okay, there's nothing there. Gabriel Pires, Juventus, I've never heard of him either. Suso, he used to play for Liverpool. He's the one at AC Milan. I think he is. I'm surprised that Liverpool sold him because he's a good player. He's somebody that they could use. He's been really solid this season for AC Milan, and I think he's 23, right? So he's pretty good. Hugo Regelli, never heard of him. Regelli, not too sure about that. Jean-Marie Dongo. Now he was on the cover right there, and I'm surprised I've never heard of him because Eto maybe helped bring him in. Age of 13 after impressing in a 7-a-side tournament in Spain. Let's see. He has finishing as a. I think is he a center back? No, I guess not. Yeah, well, I've never heard of him, so he must have been a flop. Too bad. Hesse is a big flop. He's bad. He's at Las Palmas, I think. Rodrigo Eli could turn out to be okay. I don't think so, though. He's not that good for AC Milan. Denis Suarez is pretty good. Got a big move to Barcelona. Yeah, he's good. I like Denis Suarez. But I think they haven't really been right about any so far, other than like Suarez here. I mean, Oscar, the big one that they thought, has been a flop. I mean, all these players, they're average. They're not great. Luke Shaw was tipped to be the next big thing, but he's not that good. Probably that's going to happen with Chalobah. Paco is probably the best prediction they've made alongside Denis Suarez. Dennis Praet, I think he plays for Sampdoria, so he hasn't really been that good. Marquinhos, they're right about. PSV got a big move to PSG. I guess they're right about that one. He's part of that World Cup win. Ramayo, Adam Milson was a big flop. I think he's the biggest one here. Gaston Ramirez from Middlesbrough was okay, not great. He's fine. We'll go zoom out. Ocampos, Iturbe, Musa, Luis Muriel. None of them great. For Musa, it's like 2 steps forward with Cesca, 1 step back with Leicester. He's been awful this season. Never heard of this guy. Siri Galano. Never heard of him. Moving on, John Guidetti. Everybody thought he was going to be good, and he's okay. He's okay for sure, but he's not great like they thought he would be. He plays for Celta Vigo. He's decent in La Liga. Obviously, it takes a lot to cut it for La Liga. They made it to the semis of the Europa League, and I think he's okay, but maybe he wasn't quite the player that Man City were expecting. Lorenzo Insigne, now there's one that they're definitely right about. He has been absolutely fantastic this season for Napoli. And he could go on to do really, really good things. Foggia and Pesara. Pesara has a good youth program. They sign a lot of players forward. I forget who the other one was. Maybe it was, I don't know. Paulo Dybala, there we go. The first one that they've really, really been right about. He is just so good. Enjoyed a fine season with Instituto in the Argentinian second division, scoring 17 times. His move to Europe might be something of a gamble for the I can't believe I said Sicilian side, but his promise is beyond question. Absolutely. They are right about that one. It's kind of funny looking at this that John Guidetti gets a huge section and that Paulo Dybala gets a little one, because everybody knows Dybala is much better than Guidetti at this point. Last page, we've got Ciro Immobile. He's been good. Got to move to Lazio. Yeah, he's really good. I think he could be a big success in Serie A, even to come. Never heard of this Stefano Magnasco guy. Not heard of him. And Marcus Rojo, they were right about him. He got a move to United, so he's been pretty good. So I think overall, what we can tell you guys from this Football Wonder Kids is that they got some of them right in that some of them have been pretty bang average. Like, we've heard of them, they're decent for the Premier League, but none of them are wonder kids. The only really wonder kid in there is Dybala, maybe Insigne, maybe Marquinhos too, but none of them have been great. So it's kind of fun to look back at that. Let me know if you guys want to see more episodes like this, where we just look through these old magazines, because I've got so many more we could read all about them. They've got an interesting section in here about the scouting, newly installed coaches back then, a lot of interesting stuff. So let me know if you guys would like to see more of this. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all again next time.